Hey Lux Lifestyle family, welcome back to another educational video about how even the richest people don't always make the best decisions. In today's video, we're going to explore some massive mega project failures. Did you know that London spent more than 70 million on a tourist-friendly plant bridge? Although the project's construction never began, from the story of North Korea's Tower of Doom to this massive deserted city and the world's largest abandoned skyscraper. Let us take a look at 5 mega projects that were never finished. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and hit the notification bell so you always are on top of when we release new videos to keep you future millionaires and billionaires inspired. Leave us a comment below and let us know what your thoughts are. Now let's get on with it. Yugye International Project is number 5. China by far has undergone the most rapid transformation of any country over the last 30 years. The country has completed numerous mega projects that have accelerated the country's economic growth. While China has established itself as a global leader in infrastructure development, it has also developed a reputation for transforming cities into ghost towns with minimal or no population at all. One of these ghost towns, the Yugye International Project, is in China's Hubei province. This development is divided into 2 distinct residential and entertainment districts and was originally intended to include European-style buildings, connecting bridges, expansive parking at shopping centers, and even skyscrapers. However, the rapid development came to an abrupt halt in 2014 when the real estate company behind the project was charged with corruption. As a result, property values dropped quickly, and the company was forced to declare bankruptcy. The project's lead developer intended to invest $17 billion, and nearly 700 residential complexes had already been sold when construction ceased. The project's location is extremely convenient as it is close to rail and subway stations. While traffic roars across the street just outside the district, the interior paints a picture of a ghost town filled solely with stray animals. Local authorities seized the project in 2017. Without additional development, the property became uninhabitable and the premises remained vacant. The billions of dollars invested are at risk of being lost as the development's buildings deteriorate. Today, the location serves as a virtual landmark for explorers who come here to take photographs and marvel at how such a massive development could be left as it is currently. Number 4. London's Garden Bridge. Our next unfinished mega project was conceived in Europe along one of the city's most recognizable arteries, the Thames River. The city's plan called for the construction of a bridge that would serve as a floating garden above the river. The project was initially championed by actor Joanne Lumley, who proposed the concept of a garden bridge in the 1990s. However, the plans were finally made public in 2012. The 366-meter-long green bridge, which was to be covered in trees and flowers and costs $85 million, was to connect the South Bank to the Temple area. The clad concrete structure was to be open 18 hours a day and attract an estimated 3 million visitors annually. It was promised that the bridge would be financed entirely through private donations with no public funds required. However, by 2015, the Garden Bridge Trust, the charity behind the project, shared that the cost had risen to $260 million, with $85 million coming from public funds. This sparked an outpouring of public outrage, and several journalists spoke out against the project for its extravagance. The bridge, it was claimed, served no immediate purpose because it was built in an area already densely fortified with bridges. In comparison to other comparable venues, this new bridge was way too costly to build. For example, the 325-meter-long Millennium Bridge cost only $25 million to build. The preparations were halted in July 2016 because there needed to be a financial audit of the monies to be spent. By 2017, the costs had skyrocketed upwards to more than $280 million, despite the fact that $180 million had been secured at that time. The truth is that it would take another 6 years to secure the remaining funds necessary to complete the project. Therefore, in August 2017, it was officially cancelled, as the review committee determined that it would be prudent to cut their losses rather than pursue an expensive venture. Additionally, the investigation revealed that discussions were underway with Apple regarding funding the project and renaming it the Apple Bridge if an agreement was reached. However, the company desired to open a store on the premises, which would contradict the project's vision. According to reports, the failed project cost $60 million. The majority of this amount was paid to the contractor, as a contract had already been signed, and another $12.5 million was spent on design costs. This was considered a gift to London, was dogged from the start by financial uncertainty and a lack of transparency. As a result, what was meant to be a sustainable and scenic architectural monument devolved into a planning nightmare, with millions spent before construction even began. Coming in at number 3 is Doha Shark Crossing. Qatar was controversially awarded the right to host the 2022 FIFA World Cup in 2010. Massive public pressure for transparency investigation resulted in the dismissal and resignation of several prominent FIFA officials. Qatar advanced its preparations, which included numerous infrastructure projects despite the opposition. The Doha Bay Crossing, later renamed Doha Shark Crossing, was one of these. The project was initially announced in 2013 with plans for a 12-kilometer long crossing comprised of 3 bridges connected by lengthy underwater tunnels. 6,000 vehicles per hour were expected to pass through the crossing, allowing for smooth and rapid movement of traffic between the West Bay area and Hamad International Airport. The ambitious engineering project was initially estimated to cost $12 billion, but was shelved less than 2 years after it was announced. The delay was attributed in large part to low oil prices and the overworked construction industry. Due to the rapidly growing population, there was an increased demand for residential developments, resulting in a skilled labor shortage. Due to economic strains and a tight labor market, the government postponed all the non-essential mega projects, including the Shark Crossing. After a 4-year hiatus, the project was brought up and looked at again in December 2019. When Qatar's Public Works Authority convened a briefing for local contractors on the plan to restart the project, local businesses were urged to form international alliances, and construction was scheduled to begin in late 2020. Qatar announced a $140 billion budget for 2020, which will be used to complete mega projects. Thus, there is hope for the resumption of this project in 2021. Even if construction begins immediately, it will take at least 4 years to complete the Doha Shark Crossing, pushing the completion date well beyond the 2022 World Cup. The Yugye Hotel is ranked number 2. Following that is a mega project from North Korea, an unexpected inclusion given the country's reputation for being averse to foreign visitors, particularly from the Western world. To this day, only state-led tours of the state are permitted, and journalists are barred from visiting. Despite this, North Korea once desired to house thousands of foreign visitors in a 105-story pyramid-shaped hotel that would have been the world's tallest at the time. The project was developed because of North Korea's intense rivalry with South Korea, which was in the process of transitioning from communism to capitalism, in contrast to the North's communist regime. South Korean developers recently completed the world's tallest hotel in Singapore, and North Korea sought to obliterate that achievement. Thus, with financial support from Russia, construction on the Yugye Hotel began in 1987. The 330-meter tall structure would be composed of 3 wings that would form a cone at the top. The pyramid's upper section was intended to house 5 revolving restaurants with panoramic views of Pyongyang's skyline. In December 1991, the Soviet Union disbanded and the funding for the project dwindled. Construction was halted in 1992, and for the next 16 years no progress was made. During this time period, the hollow concrete structure earned the name the Hotel of Doom. In 2008, an Egyptian company took over the project and spent $180 million in installing a glass facade and LED lighting on the building's exterior. Additional engineering issues put a halt to the renewed construction efforts, and the building was abandoned once more. It was resurrected 10 years later in 2018, when the exterior LEDs found a new purpose. The building is now illuminated continuously with displays of Korean history and other government messages. However, projections indicate that completion of the hotel will cost $2 billion or 5% of North Korea's total GDP, making it extremely unlikely that this mammoth concrete structure will ever be completed. Guinness World Records currently lists the Yugye Hotel as the world's tallest unoccupied structure. However, that record may be jeopardized by our final project on the list. Finally, the Golden Finance 117. In the last of the mega projects in this video, we travel to China, where one of the world's tallest skyscrapers remains an unfinished disappointment. The Golden Finance 117 projects began in 2008 with the goal of surpassing the Shanghai Tower and becoming the world's second tallest structure after Dubai's Burj Khalifa. The basement of the tower was completed in 2012 and it reached a height of 597 meters in September 2015. That is when the developer of the project reportedly declared bankruptcy, halting construction. Attempts to restart construction in 2018 failed, and no one has taken over the project since. While the structure remains suspended, climbers attempted to scale the unoccupied structure. In 2016, a Russian couple climbed to the top of the building and even managed to scale a crane left at the very top. In terms of resuming the project, an April 2020 order from Beijing may have been the deciding factor for the Golden Finance 117. The government has prohibited skyscrapers exceeding 500 meters in height, and it appears as though this monstrous structure will never be completed. So there you have it, Lux Lifestylers. What are your thoughts on these mega project failures? A lot of money was spent and nothing came about. Leave a comment below and let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, check out one of the others on screen and we'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.